Humanity struck a happy medium in their approach to scientific progress, meticulous and patient enough to begin unraveling the mysteries of the universe around them, yet bold and innovative enough to make the occasional leap of genius every decade or so. They made their way to orbit their home planet, then ventured onwards to the world circling their home star, much like the rest of the developed galaxy, but they evolved in ways that other races could scarcely imagine. However, it's a matter of debate whether their happy medium progress or their centuries-long isolation is more responsible for their advancement. The key to faster-than-light travel was mathematics, left behind by the precursors for the younger races to discover in beacons scattered across their homeworlds throughout the galaxy. No single civilization had ever become true star voyagers without the assistance of these beacons. Sooner or later, they would find the beacon on their planet, decrypt it, and use that knowledge to spread through their sector of the galaxy, following in the footsteps of those who came before, but not the children of Earth. Through circumstances lost to history, perhaps from a concerned precursor who feared for humanity's welfare, or a malevolent precursor's deliberate sabotage, the beacon intended for humanity conveyed a different message. When humans unearthed and decrypted the beacon in Eutheria during the 22nd century CE, instead of receiving the key to unlocking the secrets of lightspeed, they were given a warning. There are monsters beyond the rim. They knew our technology, superseded it. They intended it that way. You must walk a different path. Stay in this system. Stay safe until you feel you are ready. Humanity was left feeling frustrated, excited, terrified, and galvanized by this revelation. The technology within the beacon was centuries ahead of their own, proving it was no hoax. But even with this advanced knowledge, they were still no match for these monsters. How could humanity defend against such a formidable foe? The message was clear, though. As long as the human race remained within the Sol system, they would be safe. So humanity embarked on the arduous journey into the cosmos. One by one, ancient animosities faded, the damage done to Earth was reversed, the lunar and Martian colonies flourished and grew, and the inner and outer planets were reached. The asteroid belt was harvested, with metal and ice fueling the expansion, leading to the construction of vast stations in deep space, each home to millions. Mercury was reshaped into solar power stations around the sun. Heeding the warning, humanity doubled down on scientific and technological advancement, forging its own path. Breakthroughs spanned fields from medicine to robotics, with increased funding. Prototypes for the first spaceborne warships, undoubtedly needed to confront these monsters, were designed, built, and refined. The war against disease was won, energy shortages became a thing of the past, and computers grew ever more complex and capable. A major breakthrough came with the advent of quantum computational substrates, the new frontier in electronics. Operations of an unprecedented scale became commonplace. Then one of the greatest leaps of genius in history was achieved, the uploading of a human mind into a computer. Initially restricted to volunteers on their deathbeds and the super-wealthy, this procedure was eventually made available to all who reached the age of 25, transferring their consciousness from their organic brain to a small, hand-sized box filled with the new substrate. This box, and the individual within, could be connected to a virtual simulation or a robotic platform in the physical world, ranging from cybernetically enhanced human bodies to more specialized mechanical forms for tasks like construction, security, or even spacecraft. This fundamentally transformed society forever. Death became exceedingly rare, occurring only for those who felt they had experienced enough lifetimes. The population exploded as having children remained as possible and enjoyable as ever. The effects of this explosion, now surpassing the 1 trillion mark, were largely offset by the much lower demands of the uploaded. Small stations could now house sims of vast megacities, millions of minds, and the larger stations could accommodate entire planets, housing billions. It was not a cornucopia, as one had to strive to attain wealth, but no one could be considered poor or malnourished. E-democracy was established, allowing major decisions to be debated and determined at lightning speed by participants, with anyone able to take part. Humanity pressed forward, uncovering one cosmic secret after another, continually expanding the fleet dedicated to safeguarding the Sol system. They had no measure of the monster's military strength, if they even still existed. All they knew was that for every ship built, every soldier trained, and every anti-proton generated, their chances of survival increased. But it would still count for naught if they couldn't even leave the system. FTL drive was proven to exist by the beacon, but the physics behind it posed a monumental problem to solve. Still, every generation since the warning dedicated experts to the cause of unlocking this technology, until finally, 1974 years since the first manned mission to the moon, a test ship holding a prototype FTL drive departed Earth, arriving at Mars in 5 minutes, when light would take 20 minutes to make the same journey. Even then, after the system-wide rejoicing, humanity took its time finishing the latest additions to the fleet and upgrading every ship. Only then a small flotilla was sent on the maiden voyage to Antares, arriving in mere hours. Thankfully, giant space monsters primed to kill all humans didn't jump out of nowhere, so the cautious march forward went on, ships exploring the nearby systems for any sign of the precursors, the younger races, or, worst-case scenario, the monsters. Captain Vitubris sat on the bridge of the cruiser EWS Lumina, outwardly projecting the discipline of the Lumian military, but inwardly feeling the weight of boredom. For the past 2 months, his small flotilla had scoured a 500 light-year radius, searching for the source of FTL distortions detected by the Galactic Space-Time Sensor Net in the Eridanus region. As the military backbone of civilized space and the neighbor to this uncolonized area, the Lumian Empire was tasked with investigating. No other race had claimed interest here, so it must be either pirates establishing safe havens or the savage Itoknar overstepping their borders. Either way, a problem that could be solved with the Lumian Empire's formidable firepower. Vitubris looked around the bridge, seeing his crew restless but professional, unwavering even with the depletion of luxury food rations. They were ready, waiting for the chance to engage any enemies of civilization. As if on cue, the sensors specialist reported an unknown convoy emerging from FTL, awakening the entire ship and flotilla to prepare for action. Again, their origins remain unknown, sir. The ships do not match any designs in service across all races, and they appear to be in excellent condition, not salvage. Vitubris thought without speaking. Someone has been testing new equipment without informing the rest of us. Likely the Siltorians. They always keep something to themselves. No matter, the time has come, and the sooner we resolve this, the sooner we can return home. Hail them. It's probably an ally conducting trials on a new vessel. As a precaution, put the flotilla on orange alert. Every ship in the flotilla began turning towards the new contacts, their shields charging and weapons loading, just in case. A burst of radio waves emanated from EWS Lumina to the unknowns. I am Captain Valrus of the Lumian Empire warship Apex. State your allegiance and intentions, or you will be fired upon. If he had delivered that message to a civilian ship, he might have faced court-martial. But this was clearly an experimental warship too close to the Lumian border. The Empire comes first, and anyone who complains about their people dying could take it up with the diplomats. Silence greeted the flotilla, the unknowns remaining motionless in space. No reply signal, no indications of a charging drive core or powering weapons, nothing. All right, let's try that again. Unknown vessels, state your intentions or risk engagement. Every race has known and codified each other's languages for centuries, so faulty translators were no excuse. They should be able to detect the Lumian flotilla, so some response was expected. Chief Durmains, give them a warning shot. They should heed that. Aye, sir. As the Apex's main gun charged, just about to accelerate a small tungsten pebble to 57.8% of light speed, every computer in the flotilla crashed. Monitors plunged into darkness, the hum of the drive core faded, and shields flickered out of existence. The counter-cyber warfare suite activated backups, and connections between the flotilla rematerialized. Cyber intrusion detected. Vitubris lamented the lapse in judgment of the unfortunate officer who would face a stern reprimand once this was resolved. The defenses were active, sir, but they penetrated them in mere seconds, cried cyber warfare officer Miriana, a hint of panic in his voice. The rest of the bridge crew lacked Mariana's expertise with the Apex's electronic warfare package, but they shared his trepidation. This cutting-edge system was the pride of the Apex's recent retrofits, a hush-hush project from the fleet's laboratories. A trained cyber warfare specialist, equipped with a standard EWP, could typically breach the first level of defenses in around 30 minutes. For the entire system to be so swiftly dismantled implied a mastery of cyber intelligence far beyond anything in the Lumion arsenal. What other surprises does this convoy hold? Devanius' next words brought both relief and dread to the bridge. Sir, all ships have jumped to FTL. They seem to have turned around before the jump, so they've likely retreated, putting their probable destination on screen. The display was not a traditional 2D screen, but a 3D holographic projector in the center of the room. A medium-sized main sequence star, 58 light-years away, was highlighted. This was believed to be the base of the unknowns. The attack on the flotilla had been thwarted, with no physical damage or casualties, though the data logs were filled with junk data. Captain Valrus made a decision. Notify Fleet Command. Inform them we've made contact with the target, a small convoy of highly experimental starships, most likely on a shakedown cruise. We've suffered a serious cyber attack, but are fully operational and are pursuing them to their likely base. Transmit the coordinates of the home star in case we don't return. Vitubris gazed through the cockpit window, the incomprehensible, unearthly glow of overspace staring back. Apex and its flotilla were likely just minutes away from exiting overspace and arriving at the unknown base of operations. Head on. Helmsman Geron shot a confident grin at the captain. Worry not, sir. I'll remain here piloting the ship while you make your way to the escape pod. If this were the age of wooden vessels propelled by wind, the captain could have cast him overboard. Today, he could only assign him laundry duty, but Vitubris and Philtim shared a long history and knew how to manage each other. I appreciate that, Philtim. I'd hate to see my ship come apart, but knowing the most silver-tongued helmsman I've ever served with is aboard would lift my spirits. Vitubris turned and strode back to his chair. The bridge bustled with activity as the crew checked their respective stations, ensuring everything was in peak condition. Some took a sip of water, others a shot of stimulants, a few reciting a quiet prayer, hoping for a successful hunt or a noble end. In the final moments before re-entry, Vitubris considered the broader implications. What if they discovered the super-secret tech lab of another race? Could they hope to withstand a heavily defended base? Would war ensue over the threat? What if these were pirates, in which case the entire empire would be vulnerable to the criminals who funded those ships? Would any of his crew ever return home? Exiting FTL in 3.2.1. What Vitubris saw erased all other questions from his mind. The map lit up with the signatures of hundreds of thousands of ships, several times more than the combined fleets of the Lumion Empire. 200 or so were 20 kilometers long, either massive dreadnoughts with more firepower than several small colonies, or an alien design with a hangar space large enough to dwarf Apex, capable of housing thousands of fighters. Any one of them could obliterate a city in minutes. The majority of the frigate and above signatures were cruisers, or at least vessels arranged like cruisers, each one at least twice the length of Apex. The remainder were frigates, either providing screening for the larger ships or operating in their own wolf packs. As soon as he had collected himself enough to wonder how anyone could build such a massive fleet, Vitubris was at least partially answered. An extensive ring of space stations, most hundreds, some thousands of kilometers long, were arranged in rings around the star, one near the sun, with huge solar collectors and powerful microwave transmitters beaming power across the system. The other between the outermost rocky planet and the innermost gas giant, with shipyards filled with yet more craft, asteroids within different stages of being tugged to base, mined, and refined. Once again, the flotilla experienced a cyber attack, this one far more effective than the last. All control of the ships was lost, the drive cores coming to a stop, and the shields dropping. The flotilla was now totally at the mercy of this new force. Unbeknownst to the Lumions, 1 trillion minds entered the largest, hottest debate in their history, a debate on what to do with these intruders. Some spoke with confidence, some with fear, others with compassion, and more than a few with blind fury. When the ship's data logs were scanned and absorbed, relief spread through the entire society. These are members of the young, like us. They do not mean us harm, nor do they have the capacity to do so. Then let's kill them and their entire race. We must prepare for the return of the monsters, and their resources are better spent in our hands. And if the monsters are waiting for someone to ignite galactic war, to finish everyone off when they're at their weakest, what then? To their laws, we are illegal, nothing but mindless machines. Why bother wasting time with diplomacy if we are less than animals to them? Peace! War! Peace! War! Even after an hour of system-wide feedback, billions of viewpoints collected, refined, assimilated, and broken apart again for more data, all happening at the speed of light, a compromise solution was needed. More time was needed to make a decision. Shields and weapons were still inactive, but the drive core was suddenly brought back online. Booming from the flotilla's PA system, that had also been hijacked, was a simple message, in perfect Lumion. We are humanity, and this is Saul. Leave.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.